It's me, I'm back, der Kurobot Hyperschill Hoyoschill Gacha Übermensch of Gacha Tribalism. And Enfield's Contingency Contract has finally dropped after close to 5 full weeks with no content and is meant to be this enormous crazy hype thing that OG Arknights players have been praising a ton. And for many players, me included, this was the first contact they had with Contingency Contract and, well, let's just say it's not what I expected. But I'm getting way ahead of myself, so let's finally talk about Contingency Contract. Before we start, I want to lay down a framework for my entire opinion and everything that I am going to say from now on. When I talk about Contingency Contract, I am talking about high risk runs, with high risk being 40 plus. So arguing with me by taking risk 20 to 30 runs as a comparison does not work. The way this mode was presented was as like a high difficulty mode for hardcore players like me. So it feels only natural for me to focus primarily on high risk. Now, starting off, I think Contingency Contract is mid and was severely overhyped by OG Arknights players, just like pretty much everything in this game so far. The mode can be nice and is overall okay. It is not a bad mode, but it has so many flaws and weird design choices that are not for me and that I severely disagree with. It's an okay mode, but really does not save the game, especially since it's limited time only. I do think that Contingency Contract is significantly worse than Umbral Monument overall, but I will explain in a bit why. So first, the good things about CC. You only need a risk 20 clear to get all the rewards, which is incredibly easy to clear. So Enfield keeps its design philosophy of having all the rewards available for all players, which is simply a great design choice that many other gacha games should also incorporate. I also think the marketing and presentation of this mode is absolutely insane and makes it truly feel special, with CC having its own theme that even plays in the menu and then starts blasting once you hit wave 3 during the stage. It's really fucking epic, I have to admit. I also think CC has the best rewards yet out of any event, with giving 2,000 oro barrels and a ton of materials for character building. And now, let's come to the issues of this mode, bit by bit. Starting off, which is my main critique point, Contingency Contract is very anti-fun and the wrong sort of difficulty for me. It feels like it's actively trying to give you cancer instead of giving you a genuine, hard-demanding challenge. I cannot describe this further without bringing up an example that sadly not everyone will get, but the best way for me to describe Contingency Contract is Demon of Hatred from Sekiro Shadows Die Twice. Demon of Hatred is a boss that no one likes, because while yes, both Ishin and Owl Father are insanely hard as well, and to some players even harder than Demon of Hatred, they feel like fair fights where your skill is truly being tested, while Demon of Hatred just removes most conventional Sekiro methods and it just becomes a slopfest. In CC, it like starts with even little things, like you losing 7 seconds between every single wave for no reason. The timer just keeps on going. You essentially always have 21 seconds less. It's like a small thing, but it still pisses you off, especially at high risk runs where you take the risk that cuts away 200 seconds from your clear. Up to big things like no dodge. So, no dodge is essentially a design choice that is very similar to Demon of Hatred, which I really despise, which is artificially increasing difficulty by removing player tools. The fight is not getting harder because the enemy is becoming more complex or challenging, but it's getting harder because you are actively being crippled by the game. And the reason this does not work is because the game is not designed with that in mind. Many enemies in Enfield are designed with dodge in mind. They were not designed around the player not being able to perfect dodge and react to an attack. And the result of that is that for certain enemies, you genuinely just have to pray that they don't use certain attacks, because they are not avoidable without perfect dodging in most cases. I am someone who is always severely against removing essential player tools. I believe increasing difficulty by removing core tools of a player is absolutely wrong every single time. And removing dodging is one of those things. I want a hard parkour where I can just give it my all with all my skills, all my tools, and test myself. Contingency Contract instead feels like a 50-meter sprint, but before that, they chop your legs and arms off and inject 12 terminal diseases into your body. It's not difficult because it's an actual demanding fair challenge, but it's difficult because you literally gave me cancer and removed all of my limbs beforehand. And lastly, shilling and team restrictions. I brought up the removal of perfect dodging as a universal example of anti-fun. But overall, this mode is insanely shilled and not fair in many cases. One thing I absolutely despise is you having risks that feel like they got implemented specifically to make certain team archetypes unplayable. As an example from me as someone who plays pretty much only physical teams, Regeneration 2 makes physical teams essentially dead at high risk because Chen will actively lift enemies up and they will just regenerate nearly all the damage back, especially if you pair it with the risk that increases enemy HP by 200%. This is like a risk that is so anti-fun and just kills off the physical team in many cases. Why would you not just instead make a risk that makes enemies immune to CC, like the Beatles did in the second Umbral Monument after you killed one of the two? Instead of making it just so that you cannot rely on CC in your rotation, you're instead more or less just killing off a team that has inherent CC in the rotation. It just feels really cringe to me. And the counterpart of that, shilling for the newest unit. Combustion is absolutely broken in this mode, and coincidentally, we are next week getting an SP generator who can apply heat susceptibility and spread heat infliction. Wow, what a coincidence. And because of that, everyone is just running combustion teams with like Gilberta, Wolfguard, Katakuri, Leviathan, and so on. And it's like, is this what an actual Endfield endgame mode should be like? When everyone is essentially just running the same fucking team, or like just different iterations of it at high risk, because it's just severely more broken than any other team and has no risks that straight up cripple it. Like at this point, a risk 40 Yvonne clear is like 1,000 times more impressive than a risk 46 combustion team clear. This is just something I do not see at all. Especially when Umbral Monument was designed so fucking well, where you would be able to strategize and attempt the stage with any team and so many different approaches, where it felt like everyone was playing the game in a super unique way. And now we devolved into combustion team spamming because every other team gets crippled at high risk. Like, instead of high risk clearing of Contingency Contract feeling like something that has really severely to do with skill, it just feels like it boils down to combustion team cheesing. I just feel like this goes against what Endfield has been so far since release, where you now partially want potentials and weapon dupes because they can make the difference between a risk 40 clear and a risk 44 clear. And it's not anymore, oh, just play what you want, but it's like, if you want to clear at really high risk with minimum investment, oh, just play this team. Now, I know that despite me clearly saying that I am talking about high risk clears, people will feel the need to remind me that you do not need to take the risks that cripple your team. And you're right, it does not make the game design choices any less shit though. And you are essentially saying, yeah, you're right, it's shit, just avoid it. People will hate this, but Wuthering Waves copied the concept of Contingency Contract back in the day with their own version called Virtual Crisis, which I have a video series on my channel. And the difference here is, a max risk Virtual Crisis run would be very hard, but it would be demanding instead of just crippling. Because most risks you could take would not affect you as a player in any shape or form, but would instead make the enemy stronger and more complex, meaning that you would never feel crippled as a player, but the enemy would just be really fucking strong. That's how Contingency Contract should be, in my opinion. Max risk or near max risk should be insanely hard without restricting me as a player in combat and in my team selection. And I stand with that. It should challenge my skill instead of me trying to come up with the best no-leg sprinting strategy. It's an okay mode, but not even close to how much people were hyping it up. But now lastly, what did I achieve? After all, you know, I'm yapping about my opinion of Contingency Contract. I cleared risk 40 with my physical team, but only after pulling Mephisto. No matter how much I tried, admin not having any grouping skills hurts the team so insanely hard, and Mephisto's pseudo crush is just too broken. I will be honest, I don't think 40 is the max that the physical team can clear. I really wanted to have Rossi in my team though, which definitely crippled the performance quite a lot. I think if you have a high potential and weapon dupe Mephisto, and you use Ember as a meat shield controlled operator, I could see risk 44, or honestly even higher. I'm not sure how broken Mephisto at max potential and weapon dupes is, but I don't care. I'm not going to pull for Mephisto dupes, and I'm not going to replace my favorite character in my team, so 40 is my limit. After I pull Camille though, I will try a Rossi Combustion team and will most likely clear higher due to how broken Combustion is. In general, I will try in the future to strive for risk 40. Risk 40 feels like the sweet spot where the run is hard due to how cancer it is, but you can avoid some team killing risks, which should make most teams work here. If you are good enough, I believe that risk 40 is something everyone can clear with every single team. Above that, it sadly depends on team investment and the kind of team you are running. But ultimately, those were all my thoughts on Contingency Contract. Players confirmed to me that this is just the way CC is, so expect future CCs will also feature very cancerous and team restricting risks, while shilling a specific archetype. So yeah, I will strive for risk 40 and just call it a day. It's an okay mode, it can be fun, the presentation of the mode is peak, it's absolutely insane, but ultimately I would prefer something that fully tests my skill and does not try to cripple me. But hey, that's just my opinion, and I know that with me saying that I find Contingency Contract to just be okay and not the best mode ever, that I probably made a ton of Arknights players angry, but who the fuck cares at this point? Let me know what your thoughts and experiences with Contingency Contract were, and whether you agree or disagree with me. Consider liking and subscribing if you enjoyed this video and want more, and I will hopefully see you in the next one.